The front door slammed so violently against the wall that the frames along my hallway trembled. Family photos quivered in protest as a woman in her 50s burst into my kitchen like a polyester-wrapped storm. Her face was twisted with righteous outrage, and she brandished a clipboard as if it were a weapon. A polished HOA president pin gleamed on her blazer, flashing in the afternoon light, filtering through my windows. "This is the third violation this month," she screeched, her voice slicing through the air like a siren. "Your grass is half an inch too tall. Your garbage cans were visible 37 minutes past pickup. And don't even get me started on that eyesore you call a mailbox." I stood frozen at the threshold, coffee mug halfway to my lips, watching this stranger march through my home like she owned the deed. She ran her fingers across my countertop, swiping for dust, then actually opened my refrigerator, wrinkling her nose in disgust like a judge about to hand down a sentence. "Excuse me," I said, steadying my voice despite the shock pounding through me. "You need to leave. Now." She spun dramatically, like someone who had rehearsed this confrontation in the mirror, bleached hair flipping over her shoulder like a curtain. "I am Karen Thompson, president of the Willowbrook HOA," she declared, "and I have every right to inspect properties for compliance." When she reached for my phone on the counter, likely to photograph imaginary violations, I stepped forward instinctively. Years of police training took control. My voice shifted into calm authority, the kind that once diffused hostage standoffs. "Ma'am," I said evenly, "you just committed a felony." 3 weeks earlier, I'd moved into this quiet suburban neighborhood, hoping for peace after 2 decades on the force. My name's Detective James Morrison. 20 years of service, commendations for excellence, and a simple dream: barbecues, gardening, weekends without sirens. But Karen Thompson had other plans. From the day I arrived, she locked onto me like a heat-seeking missile. My mailbox was 2 inches too low. My driveway had a microscopic oil stain, a violation, according to subsection 12.4 of the HOA code. She even claimed my American flag wasn't the correct shade of blue. I tried politeness, nodding as she rattled off absurd infractions that would make a rookie cop roll their eyes. Neighbors warned me in hushed tones, "That's just Karen. She's been president for 5 years. Thinks she runs a military base." I'd dealt with difficult people before. I thought I could handle one overzealous HOA tyrant. But everything changed after the barbecue. That Saturday, I hosted a friendly cookout. Neighbors, burgers, classic rock, laughter. We wrapped up by 8 p.m., well within the noise rules. Karen showed up at 6:30, tape measure in hand like a building inspector from hell. 4.7 feet, she'd announced proudly, measuring the distance between my grill and the property line. Regulations required 5. From then on, it became psychological warfare. Anonymous notes, typed in aggressive all caps, appeared on my door daily. "Your hedges are uneven. Your doormat is not regulation brown. Your car faced the wrong direction for 14 minutes. She began snapping flash photos over my fence at all hours. One night, I caught her on a ladder peering into my garage like a nosy raccoon in pearls. When confronted, she insisted she was documenting architectural inconsistencies. Soon came a gossip. Neighbors I'd never met whispered about my violations. Karen had started a neighborhood Facebook group dissecting my property like a crime scene, even photoshopping pictures to make my lawn look dead. That fateful afternoon, I was in my backyard replacing warped fence boards, quiet, methodical work that cleared my head. Noise-canceling headphones drowned the world out. I didn't hear the door, but she did. Karen had been watching, waiting. She saw me head out back, noticed the door was unlocked, and saw her chance. To her, this wasn't my home. It was an opportunity. She slipped inside like a thief, quiet in her sensible flats, filled with the confidence of someone who thought rules were optional. 45 minutes later, sweaty but satisfied with my repairs, I came inside for water and froze. Karen stood at my dining table, bent over like a burglar cataloging loot. My mail, bills, personal letters, even a birthday card for my mother, were laid out in piles. She was photographing everything. Kitchen drawers hung open. My notebook was flipped through. My calendar exposed. What exactly do you think you're doing? I asked, my voice dropping into the cold tone I'd use in interrogation rooms. She straightened, puffing her chest. I'm conducting a lawful HOA inspection. You've been reported for multiple violations, and I have authority to investigate. No, I said, pulling out my phone and hitting record. You have zero authority to enter my home. That's breaking and entering, Karen. It's also trespassing, invasion of privacy, and, depending on what you just photographed, potential identity theft. She laughed sharply. Don't be ridiculous. The HOA charter gives me full inspection rights, she snapped, gripping her clipboard. It's perfectly legal. I chuckled softly, just enough to make her flinch. Really? I asked, folding my arms. Show me where in the charter it says you can enter someone's home without consent. Her face flushed as she fumbled through her papers. It's implied, she stammered. How else am I supposed to ensure compliance? Like a normal person, I replied. Then I pulled out my badge. The moment the gold flashed, her expression shattered. Detective James Morrison, it read beneath the city seal. Her mouth fell open. You're a cop, she whispered. 20 years on the force, I confirmed, gesturing toward the living room. And that camera? It's been recording since the second you walked in. So has the one in the kitchen. And the one at the door caught you entering without permission. Her clipboard hit the floor with a smack. Panic bloomed. This is a misunderstanding, she gasped. I thought you said come in. I raised an eyebrow. Through my noise-canceling headphones? Impressive hearing. I lifted my work phone. I'm calling this in, I said calmly. You can explain yourself to the responding officers. Wait, she cried, stepping forward before freezing when I raised my hand. We can work this out. I'll leave. We'll pretend it never happened. That's not how crime works, I replied. You don't undo a felony once you're caught. I brought the phone to my ear. Dispatch. This is Detective Morrison, badge 4729. I need units in my residence for a burglary in progress. Suspect still on scene. Her knees gave out, and she dropped into my dining chair, tears streaking down her face. Please, she begged. I have a reputation. I run a real estate agency. This will ruin me. You should have thought about that before breaking into someone's home, I said. My badge doesn't make it worse. It just means I know exactly what charges you face. Sirens wailed in the distance. Karen heard them too. Desperation flickered across her face. I'll resign from the HOA, she pleaded. I'll approve all your violations. I'll even pay for your new fence. You're not getting it, I said as two uniformed officers entered. This isn't about HOA politics. It's about criminal behavior. I handed over the footage, walking them through what happened. Their expressions tightened as they watched her rummage through my mail. Ma'am, Officer Martinez said firmly, please stand and put your hands behind your back. You can't arrest me, she shrieked. I'm the HOA president. I know the mayor. My husband's a lawyer. None of that matters, Martinez replied, producing handcuffs. You're under arrest for criminal trespass and unlawful entry. The metallic click echoed through my dining room like a gavel. Karen's face twisted from rage to humiliation as her rights were read aloud. This is absurd, she shouted. It's his word against mine. Actually, I said, holding up my phone, it's your actions against high-definition video. As I let her out, she glared back. You'll regret this. I'll sue. The HOA will destroy you. Looking forward to it, I replied. Neighbors filled their porches and lawns, watching the spectacle with quiet satisfaction. Mrs. Chun started a slow clap. Bob across the street raised his beer in salute. As the cruiser drove off, Karen's muffled protests faded. About damn time someone stood up to her, my neighbor muttered with a grin. The district attorney moved fast. My footage and witness statements built an airtight case. Karen was charged with trespass, unlawful entry, and attempted identity theft for photographing my personal papers. Maximum 3 years and $25,000 in fines. Her lawyer husband begged for a deal, but the prosecutor refused. 2 months later, Karen Thompson, infamous president of the Willowbrook HOA, stood before a judge. Her once commanding voice was gone as he delivered her sentence. 1 year probation, $5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service. But the punishment didn't end there. The HOA board held an emergency meeting. A unanimous vote removed her from power. She sat in the back, cheeks streaked with tears, as neighbors recounted years of harassment and intimidation. Her real estate agency dropped her within a week, citing reputational harm. And then came the headline: HOA president arrested for breaking into officer's home. Her booking photo said it all. When the judge read her sentence, her shoulders shook with silent sobs. The woman who once ruled a neighborhood with a clipboard and tape measure now sat powerless, stripped of control, facing the ultimate consequence for her arrogance.